WWE has announced releases at the top. It was literally as we hopped in here at the top of the hour that they have released Braun Strowman. Let me get the list up here.
Shayna Baszler,
Thank you.
Dakota Kai, Kaden and Katana, Cora Jade, and Eddie Thorpe,
Is
and Gigi
Eddie Thorpe
Dolan.
and Gigi Dolan.
Mm-hmm.
So that sucks. Releases are the worst part of wrestling. No one wants to see one of their favorite superstars or just any human lose their job. So yeah, that sucks. And
Well, the rumor also is that they weren't necessarily all released. The details haven't been out there, but there's a good chance that some of them just did not have their contracts renewed.
yes,
So, um, there's that. I feel like most of them are gonna be fine. Like I think the only ones that might be a little bit questionable is like Eddie Thorpe might have like I don't see
I
him
couldn't
being
connect with Eddie Thorpe.
super targeted by a wrestling company, but I'm sure a lot of them will end up in TNA, especially the girls that were in NXT and had already shown up in TNA. It just makes sense for like Gigi to be there, or uh
Riley Osborne also announced as
oh
well.
yeah,
Released
and like
like I
Cora can
said.
be in TNA. Like I think those are just going to be easy transitions. Braun, I think he'll go somewhere if he wants to. Dakota will probably go somewhere. I think it just depends on what they're looking for. I
That
don't
guy thinks
know.
Dakota's going to AEW.
Maybe. I don't know. Again, it depends on what they're looking for, because I feel like they might be better utilized in TNA than AEW. But
Yeah, what do you think about AEW scooping up some of these peeps?
I don't. I mean, I think they'll try, but none of them are like needle movers necessarily. And a lot of what AEW has tried to do in the past with those that they have signed that were in WWE, that they wanted them to be like former or like potential big stars. And I don't see that with any of these people at that caliber, like
Mhm.
right now or necessarily in the future. Like I think Dakota is great, and I feel like her ceiling in WWE was probably just being a mid-card champion. Just based off of what we've seen with how the women's division is going, I just did not think that she would be a women's champion, at least for a long time. As based on who they have in the division right now on the main roster and who's going to be called up, it was just
Mhm.
going to be pushing her further down the line. So like I don't know that any of them will be heavily pursued by AEW necessarily. I could see maybe Braun Strowman being somebody that they would want to
That'd be
bring
an
over there.
attraction. I could
And
just
that's
see AEW
why,
that
but
is an
like
attraction.
the others, if they want to be involved in something similar to WWE, TNA feels like the better place because they do more storyline stuff there. They've also seen how, let's say, for example, Joe Hendry, how he's exploded on the scene over the past year. It's like that is a big indication of what can happen with your career if you go to TNA, and you don't even have to be a top guy necessarily, but you can explode because your fans love.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
You
Like
said his name.
that could certainly happen for one of them. So I would say my guess is more of them will go to TNA.
I do see Dakota Kai doing well in AEW. Dakota Kai could do really well in AEW. Look at what Ricochet
Mm-hmm.
has done. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's one of the better heels right now in AEW, not because of his villainous ways like a Christian or something, but he's a dick. He's just an
Yeah.
asshole that you just want to hate, but he's so good at it, and he's embraced the bald. Embrace the bald,
I think
Sarah.
Hayden and Katana are the ones that are going to have the trickiest future,
That'll be
just
tough.
because it feels like nobody prioritizes women's tag teams. And that's been something we've talked about so many times about how it doesn't really make any sense. But it seems like every wrestling company just wants to push women individually. So when you thrive in a tag team, it's going to be really difficult for you to land somewhere that will want to keep you as a tag team or will even like put you on TV or something. And I think that's sad because I think Kaden and Katana are a prime example of how great women's tag team wrestling can be, but they just don't view women tag teams the same way that they view men's tag teams. So it just feels like there needs to be some sort of drastic change in professional wrestling to have that be something that they don't try and split up constantly, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah. And then the thing with women's tag teams, you're not going to AEW for that. They're still building their women's division.
Mm-hmm.
Your best bet is TNA. And to be honest, they would kind of thrive in TNA.
Well,
They
that's why
would
I feel like most of them will probably go there.